Hello friends, I'm Larry with Right Stand Right. You're watching this year's series is Road to Road Racing, and I'm at the, what do you call the race? I'm with Jason Doody. Jason, good to see you.
Good to see you.
What is the name of this race?
This is the Bold Oregon race.
Bold Oregon. They have like a hyphen in there, so it throws me off. You have raced this race before. How many times?
This is my third time racing the race this year.
And we are at the Mac track in McMinnville. You are actually very familiar with this track.
I have tens of thousands of laps around here, probably. Definitely come out here quite frequently. It's probably the best learning grounds I feel like that there is. You know, we teach my wife out here. I've taught so many people to ride motorcycles here. This is just, it's the best facility we have in the Northwest, I think.
I totally agree, and I do the same thing. I use this place for that. So there's a big mix of riders and of bikes that come out here in this. And one of the things that we noticed today was the Ohvale.
Yes, the little tiny mini bikes.
And you kind of introduced that today, didn't you?
Big guy on a tiny bike, yes.
Big guy, little bike, and when you talk about riding position, I actually told you this earlier today, I was amazed at how you were on that bike, nice and tight with your feet in. I mean, did you even rub feet at all? Did they touch at all today?
Yeah, I drug through the right boot all the way to my toes. Gave it up. I stopped dragging halfway through the day or so because it was to the point where I was getting air in my boot. So It definitely drags a bit. But yeah, I was surprised when I got on the bike in practice this morning. It was the first time I'd ever rode it. Never rode the bike before. And it felt so small. I was really nervous at how tiny the bike was, but you know, I would have thrown it away in the first 3 laps, but after 5 laps, I was like, oh, let's race. All right. So
I was really impressed at the performance of the bike. It actually looked like the acceleration was amazing, and you guys told me the braking is really good on it too.
It was pretty crazy how good the front end of the bike is. Like the feel of the front tire and the brakes and all of that stuff and how it accelerates out of the corner. Like if I was a small child and actually fit on if somebody that fit on the bike, it's a sport bike. It is completely bred to go out and race, you know, around your local track.
Well, we saw really good battles with you guys. Now, what was the name of the team, your team today?
3 monkeys and a football.
3 monkeys and a football. And then we had Alex and, first of all, who's the other 2 riders that raced with you today?
I had Mitch Coleman, who owns the bike, who we just last second got this team put together. I've raced the race a few years, and I'm always kind of last second looking for bikes. Last year my bike fell through, and it was the last second thing again. But so Mitch Coleman owns it. It's his Ohvale that he rode for the first time last weekend. He had let Rossi Moore borrow it for a little while, and he was practicing on it over the winter. And then we had Phil with us, Phil Melnyk, Wimmera racer. So we were definitely some of the more experienced racers out here because there's everything, the gambit from, there was one guy that just came up and shook my hand and he had only been, this is his second time on the track.
Wow.
So we go from, you know, second day on the track to, you know, 10,000 laps around.
It's amazing the difference. Now, the battle that we saw today that we were following, which was so fun to watch, was with the other team, which had Alex Taylor, Hannah Johnson, and I don't know the name of Nobi's sponsored rider, but a girl came over from Japan, 20 years old, was on the other bike, or was on the other team. So those 3 were battling you guys all day long, but I will say, you guys jumped right out of the gate and just started stomping from the beginning. I think that the first transitions that you guys had, within a short period of time, you guys had, I think it was 6 laps that we saw the gap at. I don't remember what the time was, an hour or something like that, but boy, you guys were fast.
Yeah, I went out and pushed hard. I try to get the jump on everybody right off the bat because we have a running Le Mans start across the track where your riders are across the track from their bike and you get to start with the cold motor and you have to run across and go. So I practiced it a few times this morning, which I didn't see anybody else practicing. And I guess everybody else figures that it's 6 hours, so that, you know, what's the point in practicing the first minute? But I felt like I jumped out and had almost probably a full lap lead, and I was lapping people in the first 2 or 3 laps.
It was amazing. I haven't seen anything like that. The one thing I got to tell people is that this was my first experience watching a race here, and I felt like it's one of the best races I have ever watched as a fan. And that says a lot because I've watched a lot of different racing genres over the years, and you can see everything from this facility. Everything's tight. You can see the racers right here. You get in the pits, you get to see everybody in between while they're getting. It's non-stop, so you guys were out there all day long. You didn't have the constant thing that you do with the different race classes. So from a fan standpoint, it was amazing to watch.
From a racer standpoint, it's awesome as well. I don't like sitting around all day doing nothing. I'd rather be, racing all day long. Yeah, I have a great time. This is one of my favorite races of the year for sure.
Well, we sure congratulate you guys for doing it. We thank you for hanging out with us, and look forward to hanging out with you more, Jason.
For sure, Larry. Thanks.
We'll see you guys next time.